So it wasn't the best election night. You've probably found that out by now. If you're finding out from my video, that's really rough. You've probably already seen. It's probably like omnipresent news-wise. And I'll cut these two. I love you, but I'll cut these two. I'll read every dono. Look, a lot. I'm gonna cut the bullshit. It's a really bad result. It's a bad result. It is so bad. People are going to be studying this for decades. Like people, this is, I think in a lot of ways, this is actually worse than Hillary Clinton's result in 2016. I think that if you ask me right now why it went down this way, ballpark answer, misogyny, weakened rhetoric on immigration. That is to say, Democrats stopped pushing back against anti-immigrant sentiment and started kind of adopting it themselves, and a lack of economic populism. They are fighting for procedural institutionalist rhetoric in a world that is populist. That's my just ballpark guess right now. Honest to God, the results here are insane. I'm not, ashamed to admit that my estimations of it were wrong. I think a lot of people's were. That's life. You make plans, God laughs. Your question is, what do we do next? Well, I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be a rough 4 years, maybe more than 4 years. It's going to be a rough time. I don't know. I have a whole video on what if Trump wins. I talk at length there. Most of what I said in that video I think is still accurate. What might happen, the negatives, the concerns you should have. I think for the most part the stuff that I said there still applies. I think maybe there are some positive caveats that I didn't discuss in it. I didn't address the possibility that Republicans might have an unexpectedly good win, and as a consequence of that, they might dial back some of the more extremist rhetoric that they were using for populist political points because they've gotten what they wanted, and they might get a little more complacent in victory. This actually happens quite often with authoritarian governments, where you have a populist right-wing leader who, promises the world, and by promising the world, I mean like a lot of negative things, like bad, And after they win, they dial it back because it's much more sustainable to keep that energy going during the election cycle and not once they're actually in power. Just 1 second. I was being offered McDonald's. It was an uninteresting interruption, but I really appreciate my roommate asking if I wanted some. Honest to God, not a big McDonald's guy, Just not a big... It's not... I'm not saying I'm better than you. I like Taco Bell because I'm not racist like you people. People are going to be talking about this loss for a long time. It's pretty bad. Whatever ends up happening, though, I'd encourage everyone watching to keep a clear head and an open mind. Things are rarely as bad as they seem. Your imagination, your anticipation, your fear of what is happening is often quite a bit worse than the actuality. Donald Trump's first presidential term was bad. But remember that estimations of its badness, expectations of its badness, fears of its badness were greater than how bad it actually was. And that's not because people overestimated how bad Trump is. He's quite bad. It's because fear usually jumps ahead of reality. Keep a still mind and not empty, I was going to say empty head. Honestly, keeping an empty head would probably be to the benefit of your emotional well-being right now, but keep a calm mind. I just know that over the next few months, years maybe, I'm going to have to deal with, and pardon me for the victimizing language here with myself, but sometimes chat does get on my nerves a bit. I'm going to have to deal with people being very upset. They're going to be asking me very emphatically, like, what can I do? What should I do? I don't know what you should do. I know what processes you should adopt in order to maximize the likelihood of you making it through this. That you should be calm. That you should befriend your neighbors. Develop close relations with the people around you. I mean it. Talk to people. Develop a spot nearby. Have people nearby whose phone numbers you know that you can rely on. Familiarize yourself with the laws of your local environment. Honest to God, familiarize yourself with the parts of it you don't like as much. The police precinct and the jail. Maybe you'll learn a thing walking out the front or even dipping your head in. Anything special, anything important? Maybe not. Maybe it'll just help you understand. Get out of your bubble. Be calm. Walk the neighborhood. It seems like a lot of this election result coming down on a gender divide. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Men are not sending their best. Well, they sent me. Apart from me, men aren't sending their best. So you might want to keep that in mind. I don't know. Be lesbian if you're a chick. I don't know. We'll see how this pans out. We'll see how that pans out. Keep your passport updated. Save money. I mean it. If you drink, don't. If you smoke, don't. I mean it. I'm not joking. I know these little pleasures make life so much easier, but this is really, really the time to try. Again, this isn't a moral judgment. I'm not telling you like, oh, you're a bad person if you drink. No. I am asking you. I am pleading with you sincerely as a person who doesn't know you. Probably some of the people watching this I might know personally. But it would be in your best interest to save. For what? I don't know. You know? Just saying. And I know it's tempting, but I promise you that drinking yourself into a stupor after a disappointing election result will not actually make you feel better. You will wake up and you will have a headache and you will still be living in a world where that election result happened. You will feel worse. I'm just suggesting. People always jump at me when I say this. I'm just trying to give you advice. I'll give you more advice like I'm your damn parent. Clean your room. I mean it. You are going to have to, in order for you to get through this, and you will. Statistically speaking, if you're watching this, you will. The vast majority of you will. That's how it is. 4 years is a lot, don't get me wrong, but on a human time scale, a lot happens, a lot changes. People who were born in time to serve for World War I died after the moon landing. Oh, you've got a lot of time ahead of you. You've got a lot of time to make it, a lot of time to work for, a lot of time on the other side after this is over, after things get better. You've got a lot of time to work for so you can see, so you can be well positioned to live through. And in order for you to do that, you might have to enforce a level of self-discipline that you are not previously accustomed to. I mean, waking up early and going to sleep early. I mean, not participating in vices. I mean, saving money. I mean, caring about your posture. I mean, regular walks and exercise. You are going to need to health max. You are going to need to be wellness pilled. And I am not just doing this as a way to shoehorn in, clean your room or whatever. It's for your benefit, okay? Don't let this tear you as a person apart. You as a person can persist through this. No matter how bad it gets, the majority of you will make it through it. So you got to do everything you can to make that happen. Okay? I'm just saying don't give up on it. All right? There are lots of people all around the world who endure worse circumstances than you have up to this point and what you will endure over the next 4 or however many years. I'm not saying you got it easy. You don't. I'm not saying that you should be, because kids in Africa are starving, whatever. I'm just saying they do make it work in a lot of cases. There are people in Malaysia right now sitting around a campfire, They've got their guns propped up against the... Did I say Malaysia? I meant to say Myanmar. All right. I like Taco Bell. That's one plus racism and anti-racism canceling out. Like a positron and an electron, Boom. A flash of energy and gone. I meant to say Myanmar. But the point is, they're around... did I say proton? No, positron. Not a proton, you idiot. A positron is the opposite of an electron. Positron is correct. I was correct. You were wrong. A proton doesn't cancel out again. You said positron, which is correct. Okay. Right now, in Myanmar, there are some cheery 20-somethings laughing around a campfire, their guns propped up against a wall, They're chanting and cheering. They're doing some stupid little bit. Someone's got a joke. They're doing a Hawk to a joke. Their life is harder than yours. Lola, campfire? Yeah, a campfire. You know what's going on in Myanmar? You think they're around a stone hearth? You think they got a remote to switch up and down the plastic LED lit flames? Google Myanmar. Then what's a negatron? That's like a Transformers. Shut up. I don't know. I'm gay. Including this for posterity. They did laugh at my bit. Okay, just I want that known. I'm not like ranting into the ether here. This is a streamed video. I just don't have chat with. We'll get through this. I know that it's some of the more cynical among you might think that, you know, this position rings hollow from famous multi-billionaire live streamer Vosh, but I promise you, I really do mean it for you. I mean it for all of us. You're going to have to discipline, Max, okay? You're going to have to take good care of yourself. You're going to have to be smart when in a better world, in a better time, you could have gotten away with being more frivolous. You're going to have to be withdrawn in times when maybe being more open would have been better. In a better world, you could have been more open. It's going to ask a lot. The world's going to ask a lot of you, and none of it's going to be fair. But you can do it. And like everything else, this will pass, and things will get better. On a long enough time scale, the "it's so over" is always followed by the "we're so f***ing back." It's just math. I'll see everyone tomorrow. And I'll read all the donos too. Mid dono.